The action at the second 2010 F1 race was a looking glass into the drivers. I'll explain. And despite a second straight lost P1, Sebastian Vettel proved he's the man, with the best post-race quote ever. Quote, "It breaks my balls not to get the win." Perfect. Porsche GT3R Hyrbid finishes 6th in his first race at the difficult for me to pronounce Langstreckenmeisterschaft Nürburgring, which of course they abbreviated as VLN, so now they're just breaking my balls. And WRC is back, the Rally of Jordan, starting this Wednesday. So we peek into the Citroën race shop as a preview. I'm here today because instead of the normal Thursday-Friday schedule, Road Testament, or as Vettel would call it, Road Testicle, and Shakedown, on the last 2 days of this week, FLD will air its New York Auto Show shows. Which reminds me of one of the greatest auto show race car debuts, the Porsche 917 at the 1969 Geneva. Launched like a regular car, with a brochure and everything. $47,000 MSRP, but cash only. Here's the fun part. The FIA demanded it see 25 cars for homologation, so Porsche did it. But when Ferrari needed to build its 25 512S competitors, rumor was they took the FIA official to Assembly Building 1 and showed him 15 cars. Took him to lunch, then returned a few hours later to show him 10 more cars over at Building 2. Right. German accuracy and efficiency versus Italian Goodfellas-style cunning and craftsmanship.
Exclusively at autostream.com/yoparts.
Button won the Australia GP because he made the call to go to slicks first. Raced that one set of tires some 50 laps. Jensen is acting, thinking, driving like a mature champion. His stock went up with this performance, and he still got Mitchy too. Lewis hooned up the weekend. His street donut started it, then his qualifying fall down. And despite some heavy-duty passing, his results only prove he's a fast driver, not a racer. Still depending on the team to read the car in the race. Then he slags them in public. Careful, Lewis, your team may become Jensen's. By the way, on McLaren.com, the F1 team website, they post their radio chatter. And radio calls show up on the TV broadcast too. Fernando Alonso got my attention when he responded to his team's repeated advisories that Hamilton was coming. Quote, "I don't want to hear that." That was his return signal, which I interpreted as, "Let me focus, I got it." And he did. Recovering from the lap 1 button bump, Alonso raced back to P4, gave P3 Massa a fair fight, then played the team role, fending off Lewis and Webber to protect max points for Ferrari. No whining, just business, from the guy that'll be the 2010 champ, unless he beats himself. Something Mark Webber proved he can still do. So Kimi moving from Red Bull Rally to RBF1 in 2011, it's likely to come true. Vettel remains pure speed on parade. He may lack experience, but his handling of situations versus Lewis is night and day. Schumacher's in a funky place right now. Some signs say it's going to be okay. Practice pace, his race opening move up to P4, but it's not exactly all working yet. And the pressure is building for Mike to deliver something. Otherwise, this is going to feel like the Mike Jordan basketball comeback that shouldn't have happened either. Why was the Aussie race better than Bahrain? Rain. Mechanical grip, not aero, is the real problem with F1. The most used words in 2010 are tire degradation, the fall off of grip. Jensen proved the tires aren't wearing out. They're suffering from tire graining. This is when drivers overdrive the tires. The rubber rolls up across the tire, making marbles on the tire, cutting grip. Back to driver sensitivity, which is why the 2010 title may already be down to Jensen versus Fernando, and maybe versus Schumi if he can get his act together. Like the third goal in a hockey game, race 3 this weekend, it's going to mean a lot to the 2010 storyline. At the VLN race, that was easy to say, in addition to the Porsche Hybrid debut, the new BMW Z4 got a P3 podium. Audi R8 took second. The Rally of Jordan is this week. Loeb leads the drivers, Ford the manufacturers. So how about less Leo talk and 2 WRC video clips? Kimi Räikkönen training and a tour of the Citroën rally car plant. Both are found on WRC.com and YouTube.
In terms of the training, we don't do so much different in terms of fundamentally. The core cardio work is still done. There's more emphasis on, because the driving position has changed, working to make sure the core side of things is very strong. The Formula One car, you're practically lying down, and the body over 9 years of driving one of those cars adapts to that position. Suddenly sitting very upright and driving, just sitting for long periods of time, obviously we have to work a little bit differently on those muscles.
This is the main assembly area. This is where we build all the rally cars. Our drivers, Sebastian Loeb and Danny Sordo, have dedicated teams working with them. Each of them have 2 number ones, alternating rallies, and those mechanics have also a team to work with them to build the car and servicing it on event as well.
Finally, every racing series is searching for new tricks to attract the crowds. NHRA drag racing? They let them rip 4 at a time now. Kinda cool the first time you see it. But let me get this straight. They've shortened the track. Now they've shortened the event because the semis are now the finals since you run the final 4 together. So since NHRA is all about shorter, wider, and shooting it all off at once, I guess the perfect drag racing sponsor would be Extends. And there's the bad sex joke of the week for Shakedown.
I have no idea what we're talking about, JF. This is how I feel about you. Gentle, not hurting.